welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate all of your support, uncensored and unafraid. The tide may be turning. It may have been a tipping point last night. Now, look, the sentiment, the growing sentiment of, hey, Stephanie White is not the right coach for this team. It has been there. It has been getting bigger and getting bigger. And to be fair, I think it is outgrown. I think it has been bigger than the pro Stephanie White crowd for a while now, but it is getting a lot more vocal. And I'm seeing more people who said, hey, I've tried really, really hard to support Stephanie White, to not jump on the bandwagon that, that some people kind of will say, oh, that's a conspiracy theory, to not jump on that bandwagon that she wants to diminish Caitlin Clark. But I don't think I can do it anymore, which is another huge step. Because if we step back from that, even if you put that aside and say, oh, that's not true, that's a little crazy, still, you look at what she has done objectively in how she has handled her players, how she's handled rotations, the decisions that she makes, the things that she says, she just isn't ready for this. I mean, I'd argue that Christy Sides is a better WNBA coach than Stephanie White because the evidence just keeps piling up and the fans are making their displeasure known repeatedly. We're going to get into that, but I've also have some clips I want to share as well with the Indiana Fever. But I thought I'd start off with this, since this is right now and it fits in nicely with the video I just did with the Stephanie White comments, both when asked specifically about Caitlin Clark, and she doesn't mention Caitlin Clark at all, doesn't praise her. Again, historic fourth quarter performance, one of the best quarters of a WNBA player in the history of the league. Stephanie White is asked about it and cannot say anything positive about Caitlin Clark. She talks about how good the team did. She has a lot of glaze and praise for Kelsey Mitchell when asked, though. You can go check that video out if you missed it. So this is the Phoenix Mercury coach being asked about Alyssa Thomas.
That's why coming into the season and to finish last year, she's an MVP candidate, right? She makes big plays for us. She's the ultimate winner, and she loves those moments. And we want to put the ball in her hand and have her go make plays for us, and she did that tonight down the stretch. That's why.
How hard, when specifically asked about one player's performance, especially if it's your key player, your superstar, the player that makes everything else run, the player that makes the players you actually like be able to perform better. By the way, have you noticed Aaliyah Boston's performance without the heavy pick and roll action? What are we seeing? What are we seeing from Aaliyah Boston right now? And when will we see anything from her? We haven't heard anything yet about the injury. Stephanie White, again, when asked about it, did her usual, well, I haven't talked to the medical staff. I don't actually know anything, but just keep buying tickets, okay? Uh, so this is just, it's insane to see this difference. And I think that is one of the things that really tipped a lot of fans who were like trying to say, hey, I can't get into the whole she's purposely trying to minimize Caitlin Clark's impact. But then you play what she said when asked about Kelsey Mitchell, and again, this is not just a question. I mean, it shouldn't matter, but it's not just a question after a regular game that was a win where Caitlin does her typical thing. This was, again, one of the best single quarter performances in WNBA history by one player. Did it all on her own because we know Stephanie White's system doesn't help. 5 3-pointers in the fourth quarter, 17 points. Team was down 13. By the way, they'd made that comeback pretty much without Kelsey Mitchell. When she came back in, it all fell apart again because Kelsey Mitchell is nothing but a selfish player who cares about Kelsey Mitchell and working to get a multi-year max contract at the end of this season. She is a net negative to this team right now, period. She has to change her ways. 2 straight games with 0 rebounds and 0 assists. I don't want to get into that too much. I did that in a previous video, but let's look at a couple of things now with Caitlin Clark. I think this is, interestingly enough, because they put this out at the time, and it's interesting to read some of the comments too. But this is the stuff that I'm talking about. This was her 2 3-pointers. She made, now y'all know how she's been struggling from 3. She made 2 back-to-back threes. By the way, did you notice also that, again, she did that on her own? Boom, boom. And you know what happened next? Do you know what happened next? Caitlin Clark ended up on the bench. The Fever went from a 13-point lead. I don't know what the Mystics run ended up being because I think it grew even more, but at one point it was 22-7. And I think Clark was on the bench for all of that. I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think she was on the bench for all of that, if not at least most of that. The team can't even get the ball, dribble the ball up across half court without Caitlin Clark in there. It was an absolute mess. Absolute mess. But people not happy. Like I said, then White benched her and it all fell apart. That's only first because it's my account. People were ahead of me. And the idea why Stephanie White is consistently playing Raven and Ty Harris with the starters instead of Caitlin. This is a great question, by the way. Shout out to Caitlin Clark's Stan account because I actually meant to mention this in the previous video. Caitlin has more playing time with the bench than at AB and Kelsey, right? After the initial play. Now, obviously, there's a lot of crossover because both play a lot of minutes. But Caitlin seems to be the one that gets the short end of the stick in terms of playing with the second unit, as opposed to just having the second unit play, right? Which does what? It diminishes Caitlin Clark again. It diminishes her impact. Put her back in the freaking game. And she sits on the bench for how long? Totally messed up the flow of the offense. Come on. Coach White is awful. Please hire a new coach. Save this season before it's too late. I think she was out for a long time for her own recovery. I just don't trust the Fever FO. No, I think it was a Stephanie White decision. After that shot, they're adding more time for Mystics. Well, oh, okay, that's the wrestler. Sweetest paint in the W undersized squad. Signed Lisa Cambridge. Yeah. Yeah, then she got taken out per usual. Yeah, Stephanie White does not like when Caitlin Clark gets hot. She tries to cool her off on purpose and didn't even start the second quarter. Exactly. She was on the bench for the finishing up of the first for a chunk of it, started the second quarter on the bench. Now the lead is down to 1 in less than 2 minutes of play. White sucks. Stephanie White, 0 points in 3 minutes after pulling out Caitlin Clark. Too bad. SW called a timeout after back-to-back threes, way to kill momentum, and then she put her on the bench. WTF? Oh, what's wrong with the camera? Okay. Imagine how great she would be if she played long enough to get into a rhythm. Yeah, see, and then she was iced on the bench. The game went fast-paced to slow after Caitlin Clark was taken out of the game. Let her cook, fire the coach. So why was she on the bench? Right on and on and on. No positive comments in there at all. Now, hopefully I can share this just because, in case you missed it, didn't see it, but this is 5.1 seconds left. Indiana down 3 in regulation. Caitlin has already made 4 threes and scored 14 points in this quarter, erased a 13-point deficit, but got 10 back, right? We got 10 back. We need 3 more. Nailed it. Why? Because she lives for big moments. She is one of those players. She is a dog. She has that mentality. She wants the ball when the lights are brightest. Period. You must give her the ball at the end of games. That is all there is to it. A lot of people were asking, did Caitlin Clark draw that up? That looked like a Lisa Bluter thing. Stephanie White never does that sort of thing. That's where we're at right now, folks. Great shot and should have never got to this point. 100%. The starting 5 were steamrolling. Then Steph subs went way too early. Then the starting 5 barely together the rest of the game. Exactly, because Caitlin Clark is playing with the second unit. Just throwing random 5 players at the wall, hoping it sticks. Yeah, rotations have been terrible with Stephanie White. She can't guard the post. That's what she can't do. But you guys thought you didn't need size. Yeah, right. Everything's getting questioned at this point. Because again, what are they doing now? How long is AB going to be out? If it's a few games, maybe they survive. Although they're undersized even with AB, they're undermanned on the front court. What if AB's out 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks? Caitlin Clark can't make people stop irrationally hating her for no reason on the court. She does it all. This loss is on the coach and her staff. Ill-prepared team and poor rotations, poorly timed. And, just as a reminder, I played it in the last video, but it's short. This was Steph White asked about specifically Caitlin Clark. Since I just played the other coach talking about Alyssa Thomas, here's Stephanie White talking about the greatest fourth quarter performance in WNBA history.
Yeah, Steph, what did you think of the rally that your team had in the fourth quarter? Particularly when it comes to Caitlin, I think she made 5 threes in that fourth quarter, more than her first 2 games combined. So, just your thoughts on the resilience from her.
I thought our whole group showed resilience, in that rally. We showed the ability to make tough shots. We had some really good time and score execution moments, offensively and defensively. In those moments, we just have to have more of it consistently.
Not a single word about Caitlin Clark. Didn't even acknowledge Caitlin Clark at all in that comment. Do not tell me that this is not a woman who hates Caitlin Clark and is trying everything she can to balance having Caitlin do just enough to get wins and no more. She does not like her in any. This is despicable right here. I'm just saying. What can't she do? Have a say in what coach you hire that ruins her game. Yeah, 100%. What can't she do? Win, obviously. So there we get one of the trolls. And then we have, what was this? Oh, this is just about, let me see. How long is this? I'll see if I can. Oh, it's only 15 seconds, but maybe it's all of her threes. Because, yeah, this, by the way, this is a team record. Caitlin Clark has done this 3 times now, 7 threes on the game. Because remember, she had 2 early, back to back. Stephanie White took her out. That's the game tire. That's fantastic, man. She's so huge. She loves these big moments. Oh, I thought we were seeing all of the 7 threes. Anyway, you got to see another angle of the big one. But again, same type of thing. And I won't go through as many, but again, same thing. Okay, there's the Lisa Bluter play. Please fire Stephanie White. I'm totally not the only fan that is saying this. No, you need to get that coach out of here. Oh, and this is fantastic. Look how excited. Look at that. You ever see her act that way around Caitlin Clark? I think she had just asked Paige Beckers out. I know no other league, even other women's leagues in other sports, you never say this stuff, but in this league, you got to wonder because it's all over the place. Maybe that's what's going on with Kelsey Mitchell. Oh my gosh. But yeah, here we go. People are finally waking up to the fact that Stephanie White is a weirdo. She never celebrates just Caitlin. She has to say something like, but the team. And she never cheers for Caitlin and not even during a game tying shot on the sidelines, but she will for basically everyone else. Yeah. And I think Venom, shout out to him, got the clips and got the, here's what I just read. Sorry, I didn't switch it. Got the clips of that, her reaction to Caitlin's big 3. Nothing. Kelsey Mitchell makes a 3, and Stephanie White loses her effing mind in celebration. By the way, because a lot of people pointed it out to me with my last video going up that, hey, Kelsey Mitchell missed the 3 before the game-ending 3 as well, not just the 1. So yeah, that was a problem. And here's another example. This is what I mean. I'm not just saying stuff. It says that was nasty because I was. We've gone back and forth. This wasn't a real argument or anything. I said maybe in light of overwhelming evidence, reconsider your position because what he was saying here is I haven't been giving any credence to the Steph White to the Steph White is trying to diminish Caitlin crowd. But wow, what type of response is this about your star young player who had an amazing night, who clearly is looking to find her confidence again after her injuries? How difficult is it for a coach to give her some love after a performance like that? Apparently, very difficult for Steph White. And my only question would be, why is it so difficult? It shouldn't be. Yet this isn't the first instance of this. Again, it is all piling up when it comes to Stephanie White. It is insane. And the other thing that's wild, I just want to finish off with this because since we're, you know, going crazy with some stuff, these are 2 plays by Caitlin Clark. For those who say, hey, 8 assists. Now she's at home too, right? We got home scores. Neither one of these was she credited for an assist. Hopefully they change it. Didn't get an assist on that. Insane that she didn't get an assist on that. This is absolutely wild, man. It is. I've never seen anything like it. I know people will hear this stuff who aren't paying attention, oh, it's conspiracy theory stuff. Is it though? It's overwhelming that this is what's happening. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe. You know the drill. I will talk to you.